Hi folks, my name is Jason. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to tie a UK fly, or a fly that originated in the UK, called the Diawl Bach. That's my best pronunciation of it anyway. It's a Welsh word, or a Welsh name that means little devil. Simple fly, catches fish. If you guys have been to my channel before, you know that's what I'm all about. Alright, let's get this party started. In the hook I've got a Daiichi 1760. This is the Alec Jackson Phantom in a 12. I tie these in 12s and 14s most often. I usually don't go much smaller than that. There's really only 3 materials on this fly. For a body, we're going to have some good old-fashioned peacock herl. I'm going to use a little bit of partridge for a tail and a beard. You don't have to use partridge, you can use whatever you want. Hackle feathers work just fine. But I like this partridge. I like the mottled look to it. I think it works well. We're going to use some red holographic tinsel. Pick your poison, whatever you want. And I try to match the size to the size of the hook. So bigger hook, bigger tinsel, smaller hook, smaller tinsel, and little UTC 70 in red. Let's get our threads started. Pretty simple fly, really. There's not a heck of a lot going on with this one. If you're a new tyer, I would say you might want to take a couple practice runs with the peacock herl just to make sure that you're used to working with it. Peacock can be a little bit brittle. Alright, that hook is dressed. Take this right back and we're going to tie in our tail, which is going to be about, I don't know, probably 7 or 8 fibers off that partridge feather. And I took this feather down by the tail. It's not a feather I'm necessarily going to use for like a soft hackle or something like that. So about the length of the body, and tie that in. Then we can go ahead and cut off our waist. I basically always flatten my thread. I don't know why. It's a habit from tying chironomids, I suppose. That looks alright. I feel like that lighting was a bit much, so we're going to tone it down a little bit. Alright, now I'm going to take a piece of tinsel. I usually just tie that in right on top. Don't have to do touching wraps here if you don't want, because this is getting a body, so you don't got to worry about getting great coverage. I'm going to go ahead and tie in the peacock herl by the tips. Peacock herl, as I said before, can be a little bit brittle, so I usually pinch or cut those tips off. That's the most brittle part, and then you should have pretty good luck. So again, you don't really have to do touching turns here, just bring it on back to where your tail started, and then right back up to the eye of the hook. It's usually prudent to give yourself a quick whip finish here. It's always good to put a whip finish in between steps, so if you bump your tying thread while you're wrapping in your other materials, it doesn't all unravel on you. I like to put a little bit of super glue underneath the peacock. It's not necessary. I just like the belt and suspenders aspect of it. Makes these flies last just a little bit longer. Alright, and then a nice close touching turns. We just wrap that peacock right on up. Peacock is such a cool material. It's so versatile. You can use it for so many different things. Bodies, thoraxes. I mean, really, it's almost endless what you can do with it. Get that tied in. Couple on top, couple in front. Let's get that out of there. I'm going to take my rib and counter rib the peacock with it. And now I'm going to go ahead and add the beard to this fly. I'm going to take about the same number of partridge fibers as I did for the tail, and I want the length to be just in front of the point of the hook. There is what I'm looking for. Something like that. What I found would be easiest is to find your length, turn it around, and tie it in on top of the hook out of the front of the fly. Like so. Go ahead and take off the waist. And now I'm just going to push all those down over the hook eye and get myself a few wraps in the front. Flatten out the thread. We'll build up a little bit of a head on this guy. Flattened out my thread a little bit too much. Alright, I'm happy with that. Couple of quick whip finishes. Make sure your thread is seated nice and tight. We'll get rid of that. And last but not least, we'll finish her off with a little bit of UV resin. Help protect those thread wraps and give it a little bit of shine. Give her a zap. And that, my friends, is your finished fly. Simple, easy to tie, pretty fast. You can tie up a bunch of them. I fished these guys because it's unweighted, typically I'll fish it in a team of flies. Fish this with a balanced leash or something like that as a dropper, and it can be really good. The combos that you can tie this fly in are really, there's no limit. You can do whatever you want with it. You can do hare's ear bodies, you can do peacock bodies, you can do any color under the sun, just whatever you want to do. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. Until the next time, tight lines.